Good morning. Today is Sunday. I wasted most of Saturday doing some other stuff with hubby and some friends online, and I fell asleep super early because apparently I was really tired because I went to bed at like 7 o'clock. Just kind of went to lay down because I was having a little bit of a headache, and then didn't wake up until about 15 minutes ago. It's now 9:30, so apparently I needed that. I know my dates are right on top of the deadline for what I had set for myself, most recently for Project TF. It is currently June 29th, and I think I said in the last video that I was aiming for having this done by June 30th. Well, whether or not that actually happens or not, I have about 5 to 6 scenes left for this first draft. I'm so close to the end. I'm at the final action sequence right now. So I'm getting closer to the ending. So I figured it would be kind of fun if we did a come along with me as I try to finish this book. Whether or not that is exactly on June 30th or not, I will be happy if at least by the end of this week I have this draft on, because again, I have about 5 to 6 scenes left. So if I'm able to finish it by the end of this week, I will be very, very happy. So I thought it would be interesting to come along and finish writing a book with me. Okay. So I've angled you a little bit more this way so we can discuss a little bit more where we're at, because I've already had my editor, who she and I chit chat all the time anyway. She's also an author, so she knows her stuff. We had we were just, catching up, chit chatting a little bit yesterday, and I'm at a scene. So again, I mentioned just now, I am at the current final big action sequence. Again, I've mentioned before that this is 2 tornado chasers that are in love. So you can imagine what the big final action sequence is, or at least in some regards. I had this planned out well in advance. So I knew pretty much going in what I was going to want. But then as I got closer, I've started moving away from complete pantsing. I'm in that plantser phase, I guess you could say, where I'm in between pantsing and plotting, where I like to have the flexibility of pantsing, but I like to know what's going to happen a little bit, at least to some degree, with plotting, which I'm trying to eventually move away from complete pantsing. So if I'm somewhere in the middle, I'll take it. But with that said, with this particular scene, I wasn't sure that the stakes were high enough, if that makes sense, where I wanted it to be a little bit more intense and a little bit more dramatic, because again, the pen name project was and is a romantic comedy. It's a little bit more low-key. There is some dramatic stuff in it, don't get me wrong. There is a suspense subplot in it, so there is some stuff going on with that. But this one is much more, because of the nature of what it is, this is much more of an action romance kind of thing, I don't know if there's even a term for it, but there's a lot more action going on in this book, just because of the nature of what they do for a living, as you can imagine. The final sequence for this action part, I had this plan, but I wasn't sure recently when I was going into it if it was high enough stakes, and I had kind of written myself a little bit into a corner of okay, well, this is what I think should happen leading up to this, and this is where the action really, really begins. There's a lead up to it, and then there's a point where it's okay, now the action is really ramping up. And I was getting to I was right on the edge of that cliff, and I was I don't know if this makes sense. I don't know if leading into this is going to make enough sense for it to justify what happens. So I was just catching up with her and chit-chatting, and I kind of just happened to mention that. And so we sat there and just kind of brainstormed for a little bit. She's absolutely incredible. So we just sat there and brainstormed for a few minutes, and I feel a little bit better after chit-chatting with her a little bit, because I tend to get stuck in my own head, obviously. I mean, all authors and writers tend to do that, where you get stuck in your head and you're just does this make, I don't know if this makes sense. So chatted with her a little bit. So now I'm at this scene, post chatting with her, post working on it a little bit. Again, I was hoping to get more work on this done yesterday, but like I said, things happen. Apparently I just needed to sleep, and I feel tired a little bit still, but I feel so much better than I did. Apparently I needed it. So we're going to work on this action sequence and see where it goes from there. And again, my hope is end of this week to have the first draft done. And then after I get this draft done, basically what will happen is like, I'm also working with a critique partner who is just as amazing. And she and I have been working together since the start of the book. So, and I'm working with her for a project that she's working on. So, you know, it's been really great working with her and I really enjoy working with her. But going forward, my goal, I'm so tired. I keep repeating myself. We're going to work on the ending scenes and we're going to go from there. So let us go.
Good morning. Good morning, Lena.
Hello, I am back. I am done with work and my hair is kind of messy and greasy because I need to take a shower later on, but I have some very, very good news. Very good news. We're done. Project TF is done. Yay. I was able to squeeze in during like my lunch break. I was able to squeeze in just enough that I was able to finish the story, and I made a few little extra tweaks just now, but we're done. Project TF is officially done the first draft. I name my projects very specifically in terms of what I tell you guys. So project, you know, and then I have an abbreviation of something in there. And that's usually because I already have like a working title in my head and I don't want to confirm it until after I've done at least the first draft. So I will now do a little clip right here to announce what my working title is for Project TF, or what you're going to see here in a second. So yay! So that is the current working title that I have been kind of operating under. So Project TF has been Twisting Fates. And I really like the name. I'm not 100% sure if I want to keep it, but I'm pretty sure that I'm going to keep it. I tend to overthink things if I haven't mentioned that before. I think even with this title, I told my husband, I'm like, I don't know if this is the perfect title for this. Is it too gimmicky? Is it too this? Is it too that? And he was just kind of like, babe, it's fine. It works. I told him the details of the story and all that kind of stuff. And he's like, no, it makes sense. Like, I get it. But like, not every book title needs to be this like deep philosophical, like it doesn't need to be that deep. And he's probably right on that. I probably need to let the reins go a bit on that. So there we go with that. So Project TF is Twisting Fates now. And I will try to remember to, going forward in videos and stuff like that, I will try to refer to it as such. But I may slip up. So if you hear me kind of going in between both of them, it's the same thing. So Project TF equals Twisting Fates. So they are one and the same. So going forward, the plan is that I will continue working with my critique partner because we're pretty far behind in terms of where I've finished. Obviously, I'm at the end of the book, but she and I are kind of at the midway point, and obviously I'm helping her with her book as well. So we're kind of at the midway point with mine. So I still have some catching up to do with that. So once I finish with her and get some final notes on that, I have some smaller things, especially with like very specific scenes that I'm not 100% sure on whether I want to keep them or if I just need to redo them a little bit more, kind of jazz them up a bit. I will say, a lot more content with how draft one story-wise is for this than I was when I finished the pen name project for the first draft. Mainly because, again, I outlined this a little bit. I didn't do like a huge, super duper in-depth outline, but I definitely didn't do any kind of outline for the pen name project. So vastly different improvement on that. But I had a better idea going in what to expect. So it was a little bit easier. And again, there was some changes that I made, and there was some moving around, all that kind of stuff. But I had a better idea going in. So I'm a little bit more satisfied with the story and all of that. So my hope is that once I get done with my critique partner stuff, I will print out a copy, which I'm hoping, like, I know Barnes & Noble, you can just do like a little printed version of something you made. So I'm hoping to do like a little printed copy of the first draft, go through it, make some notes, put some sticky notes in there of any like other changes to the story that I want to do, add those in, and then I want to start working with my alpha readers, which right now I just have basically 2 alpha readers who are just good friends of mine. I still am trying to figure out and navigate that whole thing because I have had a lot of people that I know and have worked with, and, you know, even in my writer Discord, who have had issues with confidentiality and even dealing with AI, you know, people feeding their books into AI because they're too lazy to read them. So that's a whole scary scene that I don't particularly like having to try to figure out. So I know these 2 people, I trust these 2 people, so I will be working with if they will take me, so to speak. They're good friends of mine. So if they'll take me and they are in the mood to, you know, help me out with another read through of another book, I'll be reaching out to them and we'll be doing alpha reads and all that kind of stuff. And then after that, my genuine hope, and again, this may be unrealistic, but my genuine hope is I have draft 1, I'll make a few minor changes into draft 2. Draft 2 is what the beta readers will read, or the alpha beta readers, whatever we want to refer to them as. They will read through the draft 2, and then draft 3 will be any changes that I've made based off of their feedback. And then draft 3 is what I'll take into copy editing and all of that. So that's my hope. Again, I did not have any of that with the pen name project. I had like probably, I think when I was going into copy editing, I had 6 drafts that I'd gone through with that just to get the story right. So I'm hoping for a vastly different improvement. And honestly, even with the timeline of like trying to track everything and trying to like really not pace myself, but really just sort of figure out my timeline so that I can better schedule and better figure out when things are going to go, and when, just trying to figure all that out. So from the time I started writing this book, so Twisting Fates, from the start that I started writing it was like the end of January, and it is now June 30th as of recording this. So with that, it was about 5 months that it took me to write the first draft. So vastly more improved than what I had for both Tosca and the pen name project. So I will take it. So any sort of kind of speeding of my timeline that I'm happy with, and that it still produces a good story and it still produces a good book that doesn't sacrifice quality or anything like that, but speeds the timeline up a little bit, I am very, 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 very happy about that. So I will take it. So going forward, I'm going to be editing this project. I'm going to let it sit for a little bit, obviously, to let my critique partner catch up, but I'll be letting it sit for a little bit. And then hopefully in the next video that you and I will be doing together, it's going to be outlining my next book and working on brainstorming that, which a little, I guess, sneak peek going into that. I'm going to take a break before I do any of that, but going into that, it's going to be Project DDD, which is the first book in a interconnected series of standalones that I'm going to be working on. It's like a small town romance kind of interconnected series. So I'm really excited about that. I have a very general idea of what I want going into those. I think I have a better idea of like what particular like vibes and tropes I want to take into those, at least the first 2 books. The 3rd book I'm a little less sure of, but I definitely know at least the main points that I want to hit with both the first 2. So basically going into the next video, it's going to be us going through some story or some like Pinterest boarding kind of thing, just so I can get a better idea of the vibes and all that. And then I'll be doing outlining and actually writing the book. So that'll be hopefully in the next video. I don't think I'll be actually starting to write the book in the next video, but it'll definitely be outlining and brainstorming and setting up the Pinterest boards and all that kind of stuff. All the really fun little things that us writers like to obsess over and play with. So that'll be in the next video. And for this, I thank you for coming with me on this journey, especially because this has taken many videos to basically finish this draft. So thank you for coming along with me, and I will see you guys in the next video. So have a good one.